I hope everybody is doing well. Good morning, maybe good afternoon or good evening to you. In today's webinar, we're going to be covering the subject of Google Search Excellence, how to capture online travel demands. I'd like to introduce today's experts to the table. We have Christina Lemy, Senior Director of Global Media at Cendyn, and Sebastian Pepe, Team Lead Travel and Google. Before we get started, I'd like to go over a few points with you. You've joined the presentation listening via your computer's audio by default. If you have any questions or would like to share a point of view, feel free to write at any time during the presentation in the Q&A tab. We're going to address the questions during the live Q&A at the end of the session. So we're going to go for a 20 minutes presentation, and then it's going to follow by a 10 minutes Q&A session. And with that, I am going to turn things over to Sebastian and Christina.
Thank you,
Would you
Elodie.
like to maybe introduce yourself quickly?
If you want to go, Christina?
Yeah, all right. My name is Christina Lemy. I know Elodie so kindly already gave you my title, but so I'm Senior Director of Global Media at Cendyn, which means I'm overseeing our planning, buying, and ad ops teams globally. I've worked in the hospitality digital marketing realm for almost 10 years now, and excited to talk to you all today.
Thanks, Christina. And I am Sebastian. I am the team lead of the travel and education team here in Google Dublin. So basically what I do is manage an account manager team here based in Dublin that manages a lot of customers around the world. So very happy to participate in today's webinar. So if you're okay, we're going to kick off by showcasing you a little bit more on what is the agenda for today. So what we're going to cover today is the latest travel trends, the effective ways for hotels to intercept travel demand, and the power of performing max for travel goals. And then we're going to wrap it up a little bit on how we can bring it all together through Cendyn's DMP. And as Elodie was mentioning, we're going to try to leave 10 minutes for the Q&A. So without further ado, if it's okay with you guys, I'm going to start with the latest travel trends. So before I move forward, I wanted to give you a little bit of a summary of what we're going to see, so you have like the big idea. So travel demand overall is steadily growing, and we expect to see that the rhythm will reach its biggest peak by the summer, which is usually what we see. The growth is very consistent across all the regions, and we see that North America and Middle East and North Africa are the ones leading. Also, domestic travel still dominates versus international travel, but still that one is also growing. And lastly, you will not see it in the presentation, but we will leave it up for you guys after you review the presentation that they're going to share with you, that the prices and the brand loyalty are two of the main, let's say, factors that people take in account before making a decision to book something. So having said that, let's move to how we're going to divide the latest travel demand trends. So basically, we're going to start first to see what is the travel demand globally, all the verticals, and then deep dive a little bit more on the hotel part and which are the preferred destinations. And then we're going to showcase you a little bit of a Google survey that we do here in Google monthly to see what is the, let's say, the travel intent and top concerns that users have, basically in Europe, North America, and APAC. So moving with the travel demands, we can see that global travel demand is registering a steady growth, set to reach, as we were saying before, its highest peak by the summer. Compared to pre-pandemic times, recent years have been characterized by an early surge in demand leading up to the summer peak. As you can see here, we removed 2021 and 2020 just because of COVID, but as you can see here, the trend and the queries that we see on travel, which is the whole category here, are scaling. And we are just entering, let's say, the highest peak between June and July. On the next slide.
I was
Go,
gonna
go,
ask,
go,
this is
please,
all
Christina.
global.
Sorry.
That's all right. It's all global data, right?
Yes, this is all global data. So here we're including all the markets, right? So we're going to start like splitting it a little bit as we were going to see on the next
Mhm.
slide. So if we want to see how the travel demand is divided by region and how is its growth, we can see here that the travel demand, it's showing a strong growth across all regions, as we were saying before. But what we see is that North America and Middle East and North Africa are the ones that are actually accelerating, right? So we see that in the last week, North America is showing a growth year over year of a 21%, and Middle East and North Africa at 12%.
And we're
Perfect.
just starting to see this pick up, right? For North
Yeah,
America specifically. But we started to see the incline started as early as May.
yeah, exactly. So North America, it's a little bit different of a market. We start to see that they are actually doing things a little bit earlier, as we usually see. So as you mentioned, from May onwards, we see that actually North America will be the one that it's growing, let's say, faster.
Mhm.
So if we move to see, let's say, how the markets are doing, so we see that the US, influenced very much by the domestic demand, it's the number one, let's say, market that grows week over week and year over year. And after the US, we see that Italy, Spain, UK, and France in Europe are, let's say, the top destinations, with Japan also in there, right, in the middle of the mix. Apart from Italy, which is still the second, let's say, preferred destination overall, all register a growth, very strong growth, sorry, compared to the last year. And if we see in the graph on the left, as we were saying before in the introduction, we can observe that domestic travel and international travel demand are registering a positive growth between both. But we can see that domestic is the one that it's leading with a 63% growth versus a 37% growth in the international side. If we go and deep dive, which are the cities and top travel destinations, we see that London and Paris are the ones that are leading overall. So are the ones that you see here on the left. And the destination cities, which are trending year over year, you can find Bay Lake, Barcelona, and Madrid, which are the ones registering, as just mentioned, the year over year growth compared to last year.
And Bay Lake, that's Disney World, right?
Yes, that is correct. Bay
Okay.
Lake is mainly pushed by the Disney resort, right?
Yeah. I know that Orlando just reported like a pretty big spike in international demand for this area specifically.
That is correct. I'm very aligned with that. So moving on to see how the different travel verticals are, let's say, growing over the years. So here what we see is all the main, let's say, travel verticals. You don't see all of them, but these are the ones that actually have the biggest growth. So here you can see that in the last week, the one that it's accelerating the most is the car rental one, with air also pushing there. So basically here, car rental and air travel growing very fast, but overall, all the other, let's say, verticals are very aligned of what we see with the summer peak arriving.
And are there any particular destinations where we're seeing that car rentals are on the rise?
Yes, Christina. So particularly on the car rental and air side, basically more on the car rental part, we see that North America and Europe in general are the two regions that are actually pushing the growth.
So then hoteliers in these destinations, right, they should be considering park and stay type offers.
Yes, that actually it's a very good thing to add to the offers, right, that we have for our users. So yeah, that will make totally sense. Perfect. So now we want to deep dive a little bit more on the hotel specific part, right? So we see here just hotels, hotel queries. So basically here what we can see is that the hotel vertical is accelerating in North America and Middle East and Africa. And they show respective growth of 16% and 14% year over year. But we see that Europe, APAC, and Latin America are experiencing a recovery, all very aligned with what we were saying before, right? Before the summer, we start seeing a very huge growth overall between regions. And if we deep dive, not on the regions, but in the top countries, we see that the United States is the one that is leading in terms of growth with an 18%, and followed by India with a 16% and the UK at 3%. Here it's interesting to mention that we are seeing a high growth in markets such as India and China on terms of travel demand in general. So basically, two of the markets that are very interesting if you want to start exploring to expand, let's say, your user base. Now, let's move on to the travel behavior surveys. So as I was mentioning before, this is basically a Google survey that we launched globally. Here we're going to concentrate our focus on Europe, North America, and APAC. So without further ado, I'm going to move to the first part of the Google surveys, which is focus on the travel intent. I will leave on the appendix more, let's say, insights of this part, which we are not going to cover today, but are going to be very useful for you guys to review them. So moving to the first, let's say, question that we shared to the users. So basically the question is, what is the share of travelers that plan to take a trip in the next 12 months? So basically here you see the graph, which includes EMEA and North America together. So we can see that 37% of travelers are planning to take a trip in the next 12 months. It's declining versus global markets because we see a highest growth on APAC, for an example, in certain countries. And here we can see that Portugal, Norway, and Finland are the ones that are showing the highest, let's say, travel intent within the year. Same question, but for APAC, we see that they are growing similar to us in a 37%, but as you can see here on the right side of the graph, there are a few markets that are growing above 40%. As you can see, the average here was 36% in general overall in our survey. So we see that Taiwan, Philippines, and Korea are the ones that are actually growing faster in terms of people wanting to travel in the next 12 months. Now, if we move on the travel journey part of the user, we are going to see that the majority of the users in the Arab Emirates and EMEA and North America have not started yet planning or making bookings for their upcoming trips. And basically here what you can see is that 33% of the users in the Emirates has not yet booked a vacation. In EMEA, it's 26%, and in North America, it's the 24%.
So 2 quick thoughts here, right? I think first, it's important to note that there's really ample opportunity still to get in front of potential guests early, right, in their journey. And so many are still in the dreaming phase. So now is the time. And then I think second, right, most travelers, they're planning on traveling internationally. Like that's what I take from this, with only the minority of respondents saying that they don't plan taking international trips at all, right?
Yeah, that is very accurate, actually. What we see also here in the trends of people actually that have not booked yet a trip in general, either if it's domestic or international, is that the last minute request or query that we are seeing in Google searches, for an example, it's growing exponentially year over year. So people are actually have a very short booking window. So they are very focused on the last minute. That's why I was mentioning that price is one of the key factors when they decide to
so they're jumping, right? Like they're jumping really quickly from dreaming to booking, and that planning is somewhat small or shorter period, if at all. So it's so important to get in front of them during that dreaming phase so that you can capture them when they're ready to book.
That's correct. So moving to the same question, but for APAC. So exactly same question. So here what we see is that 24% of APAC travelers had not yet started planning or booked anything, while 10% have already everything prepared, which is something like very particular of the APAC market, right? So we can see that many of them have already started planning or have something booked compared to what we saw before in North America or EMEA, right? So here we can see that the APAC market has different, let's say, decision making. They are not so impulsive on these type of things. They try to plan everything a little bit more. And now we're going to start moving to the next topic of our agenda. So we're going to deep dive a little bit on how we can intercept all of this travel demand that we see, and which are, let's say, the Google products or solutions that could help you achieve those bookings, right? So let's start explaining you a little bit of what we have in terms of solutions. So as you know, Google Travel Ads can help you unlock incremental conversions across different surfaces. These products are usually designed to work together to give more direct traffic and incremental growth to help you deliver consistent and profitable conversions. You know this, it's important because the traveler booking process, it's not linear. What we see is that there are countless of ways to book. Marketing strategies need to adapt to ever-changing traveler mindsets, and our products support every phase of the increasingly complex customer journey. So it's important for our partners to find ways to diversify their investment because that will yield greater returns. Our products are designed to turn awareness into real results, bringing more people to your website and increasing your bookings. Awareness is more valuable when every way in for your consumer leads more directly to your website. So having said that, we will start to explore how this journey looks like and where each of the products that we are going to see today are positioned in this journey. So if we look in the suite of products that we have here in Google, it focuses more on the explore, decide, and booking part of the journey. But that doesn't mean that we don't have something that we can actually help you to try to push that user in their discovery part, which will be the last product that we're going to touch in this session. I'll showcase to you that it's very new. So having said that, let's go and deep dive which are the different, let's say, solutions that we have. And the first one probably is the one more popular and that many of you have already tested. So booking links. Booking links showcases the most up-to-date pricing, inventory, and unique selling points to travelers close booking to their stay. So this one is very, very, very low in the funnel. Booking links, as I was saying, helps you convert travelers in their late purchase journey. So here, just to give you a few, let's say, key features, booking links basically drives conversions directly to your website. It has dynamic pricing and inventory comparison. It leverages the feeds that we have in Hotel Center to serve the most relevant information. So here you can include many things. And it differentiates the brands by offering unique selling points, right?
Yep. So this is our traditional meta search. So, I mean, Sebastian, you hit on this, right? It's a must-have in your marketing mix. It's key in protecting your brand, driving direct bookings, and recapturing all those users you've prospected through all your other marketing tactics, whether they're organic or paid. So, and if you're not ready to take the plunge into paid booking links or paid meta search, right? I think free booking links, also known as organic meta search, is a great option. It's a great way to kind of dip your toes into meta search. So definitely recommend as a must-have in your marketing mix.
I agree with that. Very important product to have. The next solution that we have, it's called travel promotion ads, which many of you probably know it as property promotion ads. Basically, this one serves engaging formats and placements that feature multiple partners, as you can see here in the screenshot, served while travelers are still making up their minds, basically. As you can see here, it's very based on how you are positioned in the map to see what the user is actually looking for or what specific place they want to stay. So basically, this one, it's not, let's say, super low in the funnel stage, but it's more on the deciding part of the journey. The key features that we have here is that it's always visually engaging and it's very prominent in the page. It features the most relevant content to stand out against your competitors. And it also has the dynamic pricing and inventory comparison, as you can see. And it also builds brand awareness. As we were mentioning, it's key to find yourself here so you can actually highlight your position in the map so the user can know that they are near to certain, let's say, specific destination, attractions, etc.
Yeah. So I think, this ad type is particularly effective. What we've seen for hotels or resorts where users are actively browsing based on the location, or they're seeking places to stay relative to, specific cross streets, proximity to a specific area or a key attraction. So think resort and major beach destination like Miami Beach, as you see in the example here, or city destination like New York City. So someone may be looking to stay close to Central Park South and they haven't yet decided where they want to stay. I think this is particularly interesting, especially as we're seeing that planning window shorten up, right? Someone who's looking to make a last minute booking, they're not going to be as brand loyal. They're going to just be looking for a place to stay. And so this is a great way to get in front of them. But we do recommend only taking this into consideration once you've maxed out your impression share on meta search or booking links.
Thank you, Christina. Moving on to the next solution. This is pretty new, let's say like that. So basically, most of you probably had done already Google Ads, search campaigns, which are the normal things. So basically what we are adding here is it's travel feeds in search ads. So basically it enhances our search campaigns by adding the travel feed that we already had, what we saw in the other, let's say, products before. And it showcases, let's say, the more attractive offer that we have at the moment. And it's also more visual, as you can see. So we have a carousel that can actually show you different type of hotels or options, or even different type of images from the same hotel. So basically here, what we are doing is maximizing the value of our feed, which basically we put a lot of time there to input the data to make the content the most clickable possible. So we can send the user to our website. The key features of this one, as we were saying before with the other products, dynamic pricing and inventory comparison. It's very easy to activate. You just need to add the hotel ID to the Google Ads campaign, and basically we will do the rest. It's feed power, and we can actually customize the things that we want to showcase on this one, and it maximizes the value to find more bookings in our search campaigns.
And this can be highly effective, especially for those hotels and resorts that are looking to drive up their booking engine conversion rate, as it's really pre-qualifying users by showing that dynamic rate before setting them to their website. So it's minimizing one's need to price shop on your booking engine, which we've seen take place, and it can actually drive that. When that's happening, right, it tends to drive down your conversion rate. So, and I've seen this rate-specific dynamic rate type marketing work really well for hotels from high ADRs to low ADRs.
Thank you, Christina. And moving on to the last product before we showcase something new that we have. So probably you have already heard about PMax, right? But we launched recently PMax for travel goals, which basically it's similar to PMax. It serves between different inventories. So 7 different inventories, as you can see here. It serves in YouTube, hotel ads, search campaigns, display, maps, discovery, and Gmail, and everything driven by Google AIs to find users on their discovery journey, as we were seeing. So basically here we are following the users on all of their journey, focusing on bringing direct bookings, right? So it's easy to set up, it's easy to scale, and it's very easy to maintain. This actually is a very good product that it's working very well for travel advertisers at this moment. And basically the key benefits that you will have here is that we can drive direct bookings. So you basically set your budget thresholds and booking goals, and it meets them consistently. It diversifies your approach to new guest acquisition. So it expands your reach that we have today with Google AIs to identify new potential customers. New search queries, because queries are becoming more complex, as you have seen with AI. So people are not doing anymore, let's say, 2 query searches. Queries are becoming every time more complex. So we are seeing people doing searches that have at least 10 to 15 keywords every time. So this one mitigates that issue of not covering that potential, let's say, users. And it creates more opportunities to connect with your users and guests. So it's established a communication and builds loyalty between your customers before they even check in.
Yep, and the halo effect that we've seen with PMAX is it's real, right? We've seen it not only drive revenue and healthy returns in and of itself, but also lift the bookings and revenue on standard brand search campaigns that run alongside it. So if you aren't running this yet, or you're unsure if you are, definitely reach out to your account manager or our sales team if you're interested in running it.
Thank you, Christina. And before closing the Google product part, as I was saying at the beginning of this section, we wanted to showcase a new beta that we are launching to focus more on that discover part of the users. So probably some of you have already heard about Demand Gen. Demand Gen is our solution that actually runs in the discovery inventory and YouTube inventory, similar as what we saw in video action campaigns. But what are we doing? We are introducing the travel feeds. So basically connecting our hotel center to the demand gen campaigns. So we are not just providing a user to have, let's say, an immersive experience by seeing our videos and engaging and generating brand awareness, but what we are trying to do is also trying to engage with them and drive them to our website, right? So basically, what we have seen with these initial testers is that on average, our advertisers who add the hotel feed to their video ads have improved their click-through rate and conversion rates by 40% on the click-through rate and 10% on their conversion rates. So just to close here, this beta is already open. As Christina was mentioning, please reach out to one of your account managers and we can actually discuss and start testing this. The general availability for this product, it's planned for the late second half of this year. So if you want to start testing, as I said before, reach out to Christina and her team, and we can start, let's say, showcasing you what's the value that Demand Gen can bring to you.
Yep. And like I said before, right, dynamic rates in creative is highly effective way to drive users, the high quality users with high intent to convert straight to your site. So this works for ADRs of all types. And while demand gen is more upper funnel in nature, remember that this, especially when we're bringing rates into play, it's going to be more of a quality play and not a quantity play. And so you may not see as high volume in terms of traffic in comparison to standard demand gen without the rates and inventory, unless you're a lower ADR property. But you will set your lower funnel tactics up for even more success. And again, you'll increase your conversion rate significantly on both your website and your booking engine, as again, you're really pre-qualifying users. They're rate aware when they're coming to your website. And so they're not price shopping. They know what they're going to pay and they're ready to pay. And so, as Sebastian mentioned, this is in beta. And while it's not yet on the DMP, Cendyn full service digital marketing agency customers are eligible. And so get in touch with your account manager if you're interested and you want to understand if you qualify and what are the requirements.
Thank you, Christina.
Mm-hmm.
So moving on to the last part of our agenda, and I will leave it all the floor to Christina.
Awesome. All right. I'm not going to spend too much time here because I imagine you're all somewhat familiar, but so this is our DMP. And again, with the exception of demand gen for now, all of these initiatives that Sebastian just walked us through are available within the DMP. So everything you need, all in one place, including reporting. So for those of you unfamiliar with DMP, this is our self-service offering. We also offer managed service options as well, and it's ideal for independent hotels and smaller businesses. And again, if you jump to the next slide, this is our full service digital marketing agency offering. Again, it's everything that you need under one roof, including eligibility for demand gen with rates beta. So this is ideal for our chains, groups, and larger resorts with multiple lines of business. So our full service, it's we have a large team of specialists in each media channel, applying extensive media and hospitality specific knowledge, and tailor that digital strategy to fit your needs. So whether DMP or full service, get in touch with your account manager if you want to run any of these initiatives, or our sales team if you're interested in running one of these initiatives with us. And again, if you're unsure which is the right fit for you, our sales team can guide you in the right direction.
Thank you, Christina. So we are a little bit behind time, but if there are any questions, we can open the Q&A section.
Thank you, Sebastian. Thank you, Christina. I think there is a question in the chat, actually, from Marco, and I do believe it is for you, Sebastian.
Yes.
Are the points and the features explained in, I think, the second part aligned with the new DMA implementations and restrictions?
Yes, that is correct. Very good question, Marco. Thank you. So yeah, basically all the solutions that you see here are respecting all the DMA changes that we had. So many of the things that you saw probably before the DMA was applied in March, we are aligned with everything that is required by the European Union. So everything, let's say, it's working as the law is required. So everything it's okay as I was saying before. So yeah, no need to worry. We are aligned with DMA, which is important for us too. But every of the products that you see there had made all the changes required.
Great. Thank
No
you,
worries.
Sebastian. Are there any other questions that you guys may have? In any case, we are staying available for you if you have any questions. Our sales teams are here, and before we do wrap up, I will put a little QR code for you in the chat. Likewise, in the hotels, we do like to get feedback. So we're going to ask you to let us know if there is any questions you have for Cendyn or Google, and any subjects you would like to have covered in future webinars. I'm sure Christina and Sebastian will love to do some more webinars
We do.
for you
we
guys.
would love it. But I do see one question, so I do want to answer it because we got one more.
Please.
From Jonathan. For a hotel with a small budget, which product or channel would you recommend going for in priority? I will say I think I would probably start with Performance Max, because again, you're going to have everything. It's going to get you that full coverage. So Performance Max for travel goals. I think if it's a really, really small budget and you're more on the defense, right? You just want to make sure that you have the coverage. Free booking links, again, is another option. But if you want to expand into a paid one, then I would say Performance Max for travel goals.
100% agree with what Christina was saying. Yeah. Actually, just to highlight that point, in GML, in Google Marketing Live, that happened less than a month ago, we just basically set PMAX as the default campaign, let's say, for small and medium advertisers, right? So it's basically the same concept for somebody that has, let's say, budget constraints. It's a small hotel, for an example. So it's ideal for those type of customers. As I was saying, easy to manage, easy to optimize, and its focus is, let's say, on the primary things, right? Budget and bringing conversions.
There is another question in the chat. What is the minimum budget we are looking at per month?
Oh, I think it depends, right? So if you want to do if you would like to do self-service or like run it yourself, I think it's a little bit less restrictive, but we can have one of our sales folks get in touch with you and give you those minimums as a follow-up.
So Nicole, I suggest you fill up, once you scan the little QR code, give us your information and contact details, and we can discuss that in more details. Sebastian, Christina, thank you so much for your insights and for your time. To all the attendees and registrants, we're also very thankful for your presence and look forward to hearing from you and answering any questions you may have. So wishing you all a great day or a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye, everyone.